Homeless man beaten to pulp in his tent by thugs gets new lease on life from strangers. When 55-year-old Igor Giecki was injured in a brutal and unprovoked attack while he lay on the streets of Blackpool sleeping, the whole community was left wondering why it had happened. Giecki had never done anything to harm man or beast, so why did these three thugs approach him? As Giecki slept in his tent on the promenade in Blackpool, he had no idea why these boys had targeted him. He had no money, and it was the early hours of Monday morning. The beating was a hard one and could easily have cost the man his life. Random attack. Adam Weaver was shocked when he spoke to reporters about what he called the brutal assault of this homeless man. As the man slept in his tent behind the Metropole Hotel, three youths punched and kicked Giecki mercilessly. According to the victim, he was regularly robbed, spat on, and attacked since he emigrated to the UK from his home country of Slovakia. On crutches. As if the attack wasn't bad enough, Mark Butcher, a homeless campaigner who spoke to the BBC, explained that the victim was disabled and needed to use crutches to walk. This was a despicable attack on a very vulnerable man. Igor has difficulty walking and walks with a stick, Butcher said. He even described the attacks as barbaric and one of the worst he's ever seen. Poor guy. According to Butcher, this poor guy has been beaten to a pulp by youths and had all of his stuff stolen and his belongings thrown into the sea. It was barbaric what's happened. Butcher also stated the obvious when he told reporters, Igor deserves to live in safety and not be abused like this. Luckily, there are caring people in the world who immediately banded together to help this man. Campaign launched. Butcher's organization began a campaign to help Giecki to get back on his feet following the attack. With the generous help of the community, money's been raised to pay for his medical treatment and to buy him new glasses and medicine. He was even put up in a motel for 3 nights free of charge from the proceeds raised from his campaign. Funds needed. Butcher initially tried to raise $3,500 for the Slovakian immigrant who lived rough on the streets of the UK, more or less since he emigrated. The funds are needed to move Giecki into a central Blackpool apartment arranged by Move Homes, a real estate agency. People have also donated furniture and other items to the victim, and he even received a free food parcel from a large local supermarket chain. Joint effort. According to Butcher, it's been a joint effort between every single person, from the street angels who helped Mr. Giecki after his release from the hospital, to the businesses and business owners, the general public, the media, and police. The kindness people have shown him is incredible, and we need to be inspired by this. However, at the time of this report, no one's been arrested for the brutal assault on Giecki. Scary ordeal. Giecki also spoke to reporters, according to a report in the Blackpool Gazette, about what he calls a scary ordeal at the hands of these three thugs. He explained that he pleaded with the teens to stop kicking and beating him, but to no avail. Eventually, the teens seemed to get bored of the attack and ran off laughing between themselves. He met with police officers who were also on board to help this man get back on his feet. Let him rest. While Butcher hopes he can raise around 6 months' worth of rent for Giecki, for the time being, it's all about letting him rest and recover from his ordeal. We just plan to let him rest, feed him, and try to get him healthy, he said. That's because, being an immigrant, Giecki doesn't qualify for housing benefits from the government. Giving dignity. The main thing for Amazing Grace is giving dignity back to those people who have lost it, no matter what the reason. Butcher explained to Plan reporters, in the short term, we want to get his health back, but the midterm plan is to get him back to work because that's the only way he can sustain himself. But he also spoke about the importance of giving dignity to people. Not like this. While Butcher gave out his email in the hopes of raising more money for Giecki, he also spoke about how Blackpool doesn't want to be known as a place where things like this happen. Everybody has given Igor his dignity back. They apologized and said, Blackpool is not like this. Please don't think everybody is like this, because we're not. Totally perplexed. Mr. Butcher has put himself out for this perfect stranger, even reaching into his own pocket to help him. When I saw him, he cried because he trusts me and I'm his friend. Butcher said, he asked me why. I can't answer him. I think it's barbaric. I'm perplexed. I just don't understand because he's such a gentleman. He's so nice. But people across the UK have reacted with anger to the unprovoked attack. Good man. Mr. Giecki is a good man by most accounts. Having moved to the UK 16 years ago, he's found it hard to make ends meet and to support a home. When a new sleeping bag, coat, and tent were sent to Giecki as a result of Butcher's hard work, he was very appreciative. "Thank you, my friend," Mr. Giecki told Mr. Butcher. But the homeless man also spoke about what he's been through on the streets of Blackpool over the years. 3 tents. As Mr. Giecki explained, "I've replaced 3 tents now because his other tent was slashed with a knife and they urinated on it. But he only moved to Blackpool after living in Bradford, Northampton, Birmingham, and Wolverhampton. But then last year, me call my friend Igor, come to Blackpool, starting season, no problem, work," he said. But that promise of a job never came to fruition. Moved on. Giecki also explained that while he used alcohol to help him sleep rough, he never takes drugs or steals from anyone. "Okay, me alcoholic," he said, "because now sleep on the floor, me start cider, me cold." But he was moved on by local authorities from the town center and served with a community protection warning. That warning prevents him from sleeping in a public area or from drinking alcohol on the street. Council member. The story made it from the news media to the local council in Blackpool soon enough. Councillor Gillian Campbell, the deputy leader of Blackpool Council, also spoke to the Gazette about the shocking incident. "I am horrified to hear that this attack has taken place, and I urge anyone with information to speak to the police," she said. But she also explained that the victim of this crime has refused assistance that was offered to him by the council recently. Accepting help. Campbell went on to explain that Mr. Giecki has refused to accept a lot of help that's been offered to him. "Our housing officers have been working with Mr. Giecki for a number of months, and he receives visits on a daily basis to check on his well-being," she said. "Unfortunately, Mr. Giecki has not accepted any of the help or assistance that we've offered. It's a very sad situation, but we're committed to helping him into accommodation as his current living situation cannot continue." Pulling together. Mr. Butcher's wife, Abby, also got involved in the fundraising efforts on behalf of Mr. Giecki. The campaign smashed its original $3,500 target a while back and now stands at a respectable $12,000. As Abby explained, Mr. Giecki's 6 months' rent, bond, and bills will total around £3,300. This means he still wouldn't have money for food, etc. Let's keep pulling together to support Igor. Check out these other videos from Let Me Know. If you haven't made the move to subscribe to our channel, all you need to do is click on that red subscribe button. Thank you for watching.